I didn't get a chance to make a recap video last week, but I can't let those toasted ravioli go unmentioned. Crispy, pillowy, and delicious. Had a lot to offer, just like that gateway race last week. However, we're now going to trade in those raviolis for some mountain stew called Burgoo. We'll talk about that. And the Cup Series heads to the last great coliseum of Bristol under the lights. Hi folks, welcome back to Racin-n-Braisin. I am CJ, a lifelong NASCAR fan and chef, and yes, got a little bit of a different perspective. I've moved things around here for you, and my goal here is to bring more of the food forward. Since we are talking about food and racing together, my two favorite things, that's what I want to focus on here going forward for you guys. So, like I said in the open there, we did do that toasted ravioli last week. Unfortunately, I had some technical issues with recording and wasn't able to get the recap video and the ravioli recorded together. So I am going to scroll through some pictures here real quick and just talk with you about what I was able to do for the toasted ravioli. Started off with the homemade pasta. Remember, 3, 2, 1, 1 for the measurements. The 3 is 3 eggs, the 2 is the flour, and the 1 is the teaspoon of salt and the teaspoon of olive oil. All of that mixed together makes a beautiful pasta dough. The 00 flour is sturdier, so it holds ravioli filling much better than just some regular AP flour. Any of you that have just AP flour at home, fear not, you can use that too, no problem. Well, I made the pasta dough, I got it all stretched out, and then I made the filling to go inside of it. As fan requested, it was ricotta, garlic, and herb, and I put that in the center of the raviolis. Now, I'll be honest, I think I made the raviolis a little bit too big, but heck, they got air fried, and the pasta was nice and crispy afterwards, and no matter what bite it was, whether it had the filling or not, absolutely delicious. So, a staple among taverns and bars in St. Louis going back to the 1940s, and sure to be a race day favorite in your family and kitchen. I'll put the recipe down below for you guys. Be sure to take a look at the short. I'll link that as well so you can see how those raviolis ended up for me. Now, Cup Series is headed to Bristol this weekend for the last of 3 races in the first round of the playoffs. This is the elimination race, and a lot is on the line for 4 drivers for sure. I had to do a little bit of research to figure out what kind of food I wanted to make that would tie into the Bristol region. Nothing really jumps out to me right away, so I did a little bit of digging and went through a bunch of recipes and discovered something that sounded perfect for the crisp fall air that is encroaching the Appalachians as we speak. I know I woke up and put on a hoodie the other day because of the cool air that we're getting. So I found a mountain stew, thick, hearty, usually made with game and whatever vegetables were available, like lima beans or potatoes and even corn and tomato. So this one is called Burgoo. Now, it has its roots from the French. Originally was a game hen based porridge. Also similar in pronunciation, but it's spelled out like this. Comes from French cooking and basically just kind of born in the Appalachian Mountains with whatever you had on hand. This weekend, I plan on using pork and chicken as my cuts because they're the cheapest right now to find in the stores. So I'm going to go on with that. I've got a couple of potatoes here and a bunch of garlic and some tomatoes to use up. I am going to see what kind of fresh fall vegetables that they have to throw into it. And the idea is to cook it low and slow while the race goes on Saturday night. So let's talk about the schedule this weekend. All 3 series are going to be at Bristol. All 3 series have a playoff race this weekend. The trucks are just about to kick things off here in about an hour or so at Bristol, get their race going. The Xfinity Series will be tomorrow night. The Cup Series has practice tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 on True TV, of course, followed by their qualifying. And then the Cup race is going to be Saturday night at 7:30. I have to admit to you guys, unfortunately, I have to work both of the evening shifts on Friday and Saturday, so I am not going to be able to watch the race live, but that's okay. I plan on watching the replay sometime on Sunday while I make the Burgoo, and we'll put together a video of how the Burgoo comes together while we talk about what happened at the Bristol race, so be sure to look out for that on Sunday. So let's dive into what we need to know for Saturday's race, or in my case, Sunday's replay. Hamlin and Larson are the two dominant ones here. They've won 6 of the last 9 Bristol races and each have won the last 4. Now Larson is on quite the streak. He has led 873 of the last 1,000 laps at Bristol, and fully expected to be the fan favorite and Vegas favorite this weekend. They'll definitely be on my list. However, Bristol lately has been a race of attrition and not so much DNFs. 2 of the last 3 have had no DNFs related to an accident, so that's pretty surprising. And we've had some long green flag runs. The last 4 have finished with 121 laps or longer for the final green flag run to the finish. Now Larson is the only driver to be able to win a Bristol race and go on to win the championship in the playoff format era, so that's pretty significant. However, Toyota right now in this playoffs is carrying all of the momentum, obviously winning the last 2 races, the first 2 of the playoffs. They have led 505 of the 607 laps we have raced in the playoffs so far. So could be Hamlin's night or another Toyota. Do not count out Briscoe or Bell for sure. So who are we watching? Well, obviously Kyle Larson's at the top of the list. He's the Vegas favorite for sure. Hamlin right behind him. Blaney and Bell top the Vegas charts. However, I don't want to count out Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, or William Byron, all really strong here at Bristol. But who I would consider a dark horse and a surprise winner for sure, given the importance of the playoffs, would be someone like Ty Gibbs or Chris Buescher. Gibbs is really good at Bristol, doesn't have the wins necessarily to show for it. He does in the Xfinity Series. But Chris Buescher does have Cup wins here at Bristol and always puts on a strong showing. So those are the guys that I will be paying close attention to as we go into practice to get a better judge on for Saturday's race. Now, a major move this week ahead of the elimination race in the playoffs for one of the playoff drivers deeply in trouble, Alex Bowman, was made by Hendrick Motorsports. They swapped out most of the pit crew for the 48 and swapping them, interestingly enough, with the 77s team from Spire Motorsports. So once again, Spire feeding pit crews up to Hendricks through their alliance. So speaking of bubble drivers and playoffs, let's talk about SVG real quick. When he entered the playoffs, he entered with a plus 16 margin, and now he is well below the cutoff line at a minus 15. If he does not move on to the next round, this would be the largest loss of points in the playoff era for any driver. And yes, would definitely be a disappointment, but I think we can give him a pass. It is his rookie season in the Cup Series, and he's still learning those ovals. Now, before we move on and say goodnight for the evening, I do want to touch on some news of the week that you may have missed. First and foremost, longtime owner and mentor of the sport, Bill Davis, passed away early this week. He was influential in Jeff Gordon's career early on and signed him to an early contract in the Busch Series way back when, and also helped several big names throughout the series and throughout the decades in NASCAR. So Bill Davis will definitely be missed in the garage. And another bit of news that you may not have seen this week, it was announced that Ricky Craven will be the honorary pace car driver next week at New Hampshire. So a longtime New England native and hero will be back behind the wheel in front of the Cup Series to lead them to green. And then finally, just something to be watching for, NASCAR did catch wind of the two Trackhouse cars, Ross Chastain and SVG, at the end of the Gateway race, running through the grass on the cool-down lap. Now this, if found to be purposeful, could result in a major penalty, and NASCAR reminded all of the teams of that possible penalty for any alterations to the cars post-race. So yes, the little stint through the grass, never really discussed whether that was intentional, and I don't know if anybody's really asked anything of it. But NASCAR did see it, and they will be watching even closer going forward. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for me here tonight on a Thursday preview edition. We have Bristol and Burgoo on the menu for the weekend. I'll put together a nice hearty stew to warm the bones, and I'll show you how we do it while we talk about what Bristol brought us this weekend. I hope you all have a great weekend, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes of Racin-n-Braisin. I truly appreciate all of your help and support in helping this channel grow. Until next time, guys, stay happy.